Welcome back, everyone. We're here for another instructional video. This time, we're just going to play around with some basic Microsoft Excel formulas. Here, if you watched our previous video, this is the same data set we looked at before in the initial video, but I just kind of tweaked it and added a little format just to add some flair to it. And also, it makes it easier for me to see. If you look in column J, you'll notice that I've typed in some metrics that I thought make sense when looking at this financial data, especially when it comes to the stock market, and we're looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average for 1 year. So the first is your average price. It says stock price, but it's really index price because it's the Dow Jones. We're going to look at the 52-week high, which is the highest the Dow closed at, the low, which is the lowest, and then we're going to look at the average stock return. Now, column G is the expected return, and what we're looking at really is this is a self-calculated value, which is basically your percent change formula, which is simply new value over L value minus 1. So let's start to go through it. So first, the first formula we're going to look at is the average formula. Some people call it the average, some people call it the mean, but a rose by any other name is still a rose. So I had the column with the formulas in it already because I already did them, just so you guys don't have to watch me struggle to type. But if you take a look at it here in the formula bar, you can see all this is an average of column F, which is the adjusted close price. It's pretty simple, straightforward. Average is one of the simpler and more rudimentary formulas in Microsoft Excel. It gets quite in-depth, and we'll go over that in subsequent videos. Then we'll go down to the 52-week high, and very similar to the average. It's a very simple formula. Again, all formulas must start with equal in order to activate the function capability in Microsoft Excel. Here, for the 52-week high, it's just a max formula. What's the max value that this index closed at for this year time frame? Then scrolling down to low, just like in high we use max, for the low we'll use min, and it's a pretty simple formula. One argument, which is the column that you're referencing, and then I got a little fancy and I did the average rate of return. So what that is the average of column G. So that means that what we're looking at, the market had an average return of 0.04%. That's relatively low because year over year, the stock market normally returns 10% on average. And again, this is just the Dow Jones. It's a small piece, but going forward. Now, I've also applied a filter to the spreadsheet here. So what you can kind of look at the values in a more simplistic way. So if we go to the expected value or return column and you click your drop down arrow, you can see the lowest we have is negative 12.93% in a single day-to-day turn, and then the highest is 11.37% change. So you can see there is ebbs and flows throughout this data here and there from the day-to-day. But I just wanted to walk you guys through one, looking at data and let it make sense and let it speak to you. So one more thing I want to do is I want to take a look at this from a graphical stance, but I want to do something a little different and look at it with a graph within the cell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do equal because that's how I activate my formula. I'm just hitting the left key on my keyboard, hitting enter so it copies the values down. What you'll notice is it's identical and I'm dragging it down to copy those formulas going forward. So now I'm going to go to my home ribbon key, um, and go to my conditional formatting, and then I'm going to have data bars. And what those data bars will do is it will basically do a bar graph within the cell that will give you an indication of where we are and how we line up. So if I expand this column just a tad bit, what we'll see is the the average is somewhere between the high and the low. But more to come on that, everyone. If you have any questions, you can reach out to us at RiskInquiry at data-gration.com. We're here to help, we're here to learn, we're here to grow, and we're here to excel. Thank you. Have a good night.